Hi, my name's Filey Mandris, and this is my Strand project. For my SOL, I have K11, and it's all about statistics and probability. So if we turn the page here, we're going to see my SOL here. And then this is all of the unpacking of the standards for my SOL. I did the A and B, so I did the full SOL. And then this is the map for my SOL. And if we continue turning the page here, this is my note-taking activity. So for my note-taking activity, example of it, my students are going to be investigators and they're going to find, collect, and all that kind of stuff with data. So this is going to be an interactive thing of how to make a graph, essentially. So the students are going to be given cutouts, and they're going to have to glue the notes in. So these are notes, but they're going to be gluing it in. And then also this is going to be super interactive. So the students are going to be figuring out how many pets they have, and then they're going to be at the very end making their own graph based upon the data that we collect as a class. So we're doing notes and we're finding our own data as well. So with this, I'm going to be giving students manipulatives, probably different colored blocks representing the different pets that they have that we make together as a class. And together, we're going to form our very own object graph. And I'll help them label things and cut out things and have it all provided for them. Then we turn the page, and I have my file folder game. For my file folder game, it's called the Apple Race. So this is an example of my file folder game. So we have the instructions in here in my SOL. You open up the file folder, and we have this mat right here. So the students are going to be given a pencil and a paper clip. The paper clip is going to be placed under the pencil, and they're going to use their fingers to spin the paper clip, and wherever it lands, so let's say it lands on the red apple, they're going to take this red fuzzy in representation of the red apple and put it under the red apple section right here. And they're going to keep going with this until whatever apple reaches the top first. So if the red apple reaches the top first, after it reaches the top, they're going to write the number down right here with an expo marker that will be provided of how many each section has. So the one that has the most will be 8. But the rest could be 6 or it could be 5. There could be the same. So this will be a really cool opportunity for students to kind of collect data on their own and just kind of see which has more, which has less, and it's a really cool opportunity for them to do that. So we're going to turn the page here. This is just for my supplies where all the folder game stuff is located. And then here we have our tiered activities. So for my first tiered activity, this is going to be the SOL where students are going to organize and collect and represent data. So for the first one, I'm going to have an activity mat, and the students are going to be broken up into groups to work on this. So this is for my below grade level students. They're going to be given this, and they're going to be given buttons. What they're going to do is they're going to sort the buttons by the different colors. And then there's going to be a section for them to help them kind of see where each button should be placed. And then once they've categorized all the buttons together, they're going to have some review questions for them to answer. And this just kind of tells them, circle which color had more, write the number of how many each color had, and that just kind of helps them. And then we have the on-grade level. For the on-grade level, it's going to be a little different. They're going to have more categories for colors, so they're going to have 4. And then they're also going to be given this, which is very similar to the file folder game. So they're going to be given a paper clip, and then they're going to be given a pencil, and they're going to take the paper clip and spin it with their fingers, and whatever color it lands on, so if it lands on blue, they're going to put the blue button on the section here. And just like the Apple game, they're going to go all the way until whichever button reaches the top. Now there's more opportunity for them if they want to make their buttons spread out or skinny. So it can be however many it can fit. And then they're going to be given review questions as well for them to answer at the end, right here. And now for my above grade level students, theirs is going to be a little different. For them, their buttons are all going to come in different shapes and sizes and different colors, and then they're going to have different holes located on the buttons. Some have 4, some have 2. So this is what their mat's going to look like. As you can see, it's empty. So they're going to get steps. So the first thing they have to do is they have to figure out how they want to categorize their buttons. If they want to do it by size, if they want to do it by color, whatever they want to do. So they'll essentially have 3 options. So once they figure out how they want to categorize it, they're going to be given these. And this will represent where they're going to put their buttons. So let's say that they want to do it by size. So their group is going to come up with the title and write size of buttons. And so they're going to write the title here, and then they're going to take these placemats and they're going to set them there. So the reason why there's 4 up here, because the students could do it by color, and so there's 4 opportunities for that. The students could do it by size, and there's only 2. So they get to choose, and then they get these little blue placemats here, and they're going to put it right underneath this column, and they're going to write the different categories. And a teacher will be there to help and assist them write if that's needed. So this is just a really cool way for my above level students to figure out how they want to categorize with the data given to them. Now we're going to turn the page, and this is my integrated activities. So for my integrated activities, the first one we have is the scavenger hunt. So it's called the census scavenger hunt. So for science, we're going to be talking about the 5 senses, which is taste, touch, feel, smell, hear. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have my students be broken up into groups. And once they're broken up into groups, I'm going to have them all go outside, and we're going to figure out what things are outside Miss Fineland's classroom. They're going to be given this chart. It's going to go on a clipboard. So what they're going to do is with their group, they're going to find different objects outside. So for instance, let's say they find a rock. They're going to look at the rock, and they're going to see the different things that they can use with their senses. So they're going to look at the rock, and they're going to draw the rock here. Then after they draw the rock, they're going to answer these questions about it. They can either make an X, a check mark, or actually write the word, depending on where they're at. So right here it says taste question mark. Can they taste the rock? No. So they're going to write no. Can they touch the rock? Yes. So they're going to write yes, and then so on. And now this can be we're thinking about going like outside where the recess is, so the playground, so they could look at a slide. They could draw a picture of a slide. They could do anything. They could do grass. So then after we've collected all this data, we're going to go back inside, and then together as a class, we're going to talk about the different things we found, and we're going to see if we have any similarities, because a lot of different groups could find rocks, and a lot of different groups could have found slides. And with the data given, we're going to make comparisons. So that's going to be for my science. And then if we turn the page here, this is for my integrated activities for social science. And for social science, the SOL is that the students will be good citizens, which is participating in groups and in a group setting. So they're going to be going on a hunt as well, but it's going to be a little different. What they're going to do is I'm going to have my students broken up into groups, and as a group, they have to work together to find different data located all over the classroom. So here I'm going to have a list of stuff all over the class. So we have children's books, backpack pencils, and they're going to tally each one that they find. So if they find like 5 books, their group has to work together to write 5 tallies here. And they're going to be timed. So once the timer is up, I'm going to have all the students come back to the carpet, and then we're going to review the different tallies and different data that we found, and then essentially see if we can categorize that and maybe make an object graph depending on how much the students gather in their data. So we turn the page here. I have my lesson plan. For my lesson plan, we're going to be doing SOL section A and B, so it's collecting data and then actually creating a graph and analyzing it. So we're going to be doing Tally O'Malley. So for the set, I have a video that I'm going to show for them, and it's all about picture graphs and how that works, and it's super cute. And then the kids are going to go back for instruction time. And for my instruction time, I'm actually going to have the students be doing interactive activities. So I'll have a picture graph provided for them on the smartboard where they have to look at the picture graph, and we're going to talk about what that is, what the pictures represent. And then I'm going to have the students get up and go to the carpet, and then we're actually going to make an object graph using themselves. So it'll be like a 3D kind of thing. And I'm going to do that based on students' hair color. I'll have them stand on the carpet in rows, and I'll probably have masking tape all ready for them in rows so it's easy for them. And we can talk about object graphs. And then after that, for the guided practice, I'm going to be reading the book Tally O'Malley. And Tally O'Malley, it's basically about her going on vacation and writing tally marks about all these different things that she finds. So it's categorizing. So the book is going to be played on a big on the smartboard, and each students are going to be getting this record sheet of it's right straight from the book about all the different things that Tally O'Malley finds, and I'm going to be pausing the book as it's being played. So while she finds different activities, while she finds different things in tally marks, I'll have my students mark down the different things that she finds. So the cars, the train, that kind of stuff. And then we're going to keep going into independent practice. And for my independent practice, I'm going to be giving students a bag of different kind of shapes and then a mat. And what they're going to do is they're going to be categorizing based upon the different shapes and colors. So it could be a red star and it could be a blue circle, and they're going to write down, they're going to just categorize it on their map. So they're just going to make basically a picture graph all by themselves with the objects given to them, with the pictures given to them. And then we're going to go down to our closure. And for our closure, I'm going to have my students talk about their different picture graphs that they made in their independent practice. And then we're going to compare stuff, because each student's going to be given a different bag of shapes. So they're going to be given different numbers, different colors. So they're going to talk about that together, which would be super great. And then for my evaluation, which is going to be basically how I'm going to be testing students. It's basically their summative assessment. I'm going to be giving students this foldable. And with this foldable, we're going to open the first flap, and it's a picture graph. So the picture graph is given here to them to refer to. And then they're going to have the question 1. And this question 1 just asks simple things about this picture graph that they can find, like which fruit has the most, and then they're going to write how many. And then this question 2 writes which fruit has the least, and then they're going to write how many. And this just essentially helps them analyze the graph and make evaluations about the data given to them. So then we're going to turn the page, and for my summative assessment, I have an M&M graphing assessment. I'm super excited about this. It's my favorite. So the students are going to be given this placemat right here, and this is where, and then they're also going to be given M&Ms and these instructions. So with their M&Ms, they're going to take out their M&Ms, and then they're going to place it in the category provided. So all the brown will go here, green, and so on. And then after they have made their object graph, I'm going to have the students fill out this observation key or whatever for them from this map. So it'll just say circle which color has the most, circles which color has the least. And as I give this to students, I'll be reading this out loud so that they can hear me say this and they can understand what the questions are asking. And then they'll be able to write it and circle it accordingly. And I'll also have steps provided for them to refer back to. A lot of them aren't really going to be able to read, so I'll be reading the steps as we do this summative assessment together at the end of the lesson. As we turn the page, one of my formative assessment are going to be emojis. So I'll have these 3 sticks provided for students throughout the entire lesson, placed in their back, in the back of their seat, in their seat pouch. And what they're going to do is I will, throughout the lesson, pause and say, okay, students, show me your faces. And if they give me a happy face, then I know that the students are understanding what's happening. If they give me a confused face, then I'll understand that students are kind of confused about the lesson. If they give me a mad face, then I'll see that they just don't get it at all. So if I see any of my students have a confused or mad face, I'm going to pause, kind of re-go over what I just went over, and then I'm going to have students turn to their neighbor and they're going to talk about what we went over, and I'll say something like, okay, turn to your neighbor and talk about a picture graph. Tell them what it is. What do we use in a picture graph? Do we use pictures? Do we use objects? And so on. Just to help the students kind of reiterate to each other. And I'll also go back after the lesson and see the students who have put up these faces and just kind of see where they're at after I re-go over stuff in the lesson. My last formative assessment activity is going to be an exiting ticket. And for my exiting ticket, this is what it looks like. The students are going to be given 3 questions. The first thing they're going to have to do is circle an object graph and then circle a picture graph. This tells me they understand which one is which. And then the last one is going to be a bar. And I want them to color in where they're at based on the bar. So the first bar is the tallest one, so that tells me that they totally get it. The second one's the second tallest one, that tells me that they're pretty confident in it. The third one tells me that they're not feeling it, really, they're not getting it. And the fourth one tells me they don't get it at all. So I want them to color in where they're at. So this helps me see where they're at, and then this helps me see that they're kind of understanding a little bit of what I'm teaching. And this concludes everything in my Strand project. Thank you so much.